Hi there, my name is David Michael, and even though you don't know me, believe it or not, we have something in common.
We are all just part of the 7 billion people that live on the planet Earth. The other thing we all have in common is that we were all born, or else if we weren't born, we wouldn't be here. But the other thing we all have in common is someday each one of us will die.
Wait, don't turn me off. I'm not going to get morbid on you, I promise. I know death is a subject that none of us really likes to talk about, but when you think about it, remember the old saying, none of us gets out of here alive? I heard once a long time ago that most people, their number 2 fear in life is death. You know what their number 1 fear in life is? Public speaking. So I guess that means if you go to a funeral, you'd rather be the guy in the casket than the one doing the eulogy. Think about it. When you go on a vacation, you just don't randomly go wandering through the airport. You plan exactly where you're going to go, exactly where you're going to stay, what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, what sights you want to see. You just don't let everything just happen willy-nilly. So wouldn't you want to at least give the same amount of consideration to where you're going to go, what's going to happen when you leave planet Earth? After all, what's out there? Maybe nothing, but maybe everything. As I'm sure you know, there's many theories and beliefs and philosophies about what happens to us human beings once we leave this old body behind. When Rodin did this sculpture back in 1508, the famous sculpture known as The Thinker, he had just finished reading Dante Alighieri's poem called The Divine Comedy. It's a poem about a man who went to heaven, and then he went to hell. And what the thinker is depicting is the thinker is just contemplating man's position, his soul hung in the balance between what happens to a human being once they leave the planet Earth. Well, I needed some answers. You can call me crazy, but I had to find out for myself. So what I did is I talked with many different people of different faiths and beliefs and philosophies. I read from the great works of history. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I read the I Ching. I read from the Quran, the writings of Confucius. I read the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I read esoteric writings. Carlos Castaneda's book, The Teachings of Don Juan. I read occultic writings. I read even satanic writings. I spoke with theists, atheists, and agnostics. I had to gather as much information as I could to find out what happens to us when we leave the planet Earth behind. And I would love to share this information with you. And that's why I wrote a book. I know what you're saying. It was just a matter of time before there was going to be some kind of sales pitch. But that's not what this is about, I promise. But you see, in order for me to share just some of the information I've learned throughout the years, I couldn't possibly put it in a video, so that's why I put it in a book. Now you're probably saying, oh boy, what could possibly be more gloomy or more boring than reading a book about what happens to people once they die? Well, what I did is I took all this information and I wrapped it into an interesting story. At least that's what people tell me who've read the book. All the time I get people tell me, your book is so interesting, I had a hard time putting it down. I was told a long time ago that if you write a novel, you have to first have a love triangle, and then you have to have a mystery. So what I did is I took bits and pieces of people's lives that I've known throughout my life, in conjunction with experiences that really did happen to me, and I made a story where I could share this information while entertaining you at the same time. My book is entitled Longer Than You Are Alive, and it's a 570-page novel that once you've read this book, you will have all the information you need that talks about all the different beliefs and the theories and the philosophies that are out there about what happens when we leave planet Earth. Now, I can't make you believe something, just like you can't make me believe something. But at least once you've read this book, you will have enough information to make an educated decision on what you choose to believe, what happens once we die. Of course, once you read my book, you might decide just to become a Presbyterian. What? You never heard of the Presbyterians? Yeah, they worship the Frisbee, and they believe that once you die, your soul ends up on your neighbor's roof. Well, I really do hope you read my book. But in the meantime, life is just like a big roller coaster, so you might as well enjoy the ride.